Hello, my name is Blake Angelos, and I am a keyboard product specialist for Yamaha Corporation of America. This is a short video I put together to introduce you to the concept of performances, which are the method that both the Yamaha CP4 and CP40 stage pianos use to organize and recall different voice setups. From just a single acoustic piano sound, to an electric piano sound, to a piano layered with a string sound, or an organ sound in the right hand and an electric bass sound in the left, performances are the way that you can recall these voice setups with a push of a single button. This is part one of a two-part tutorial introducing you to the performance concept. In part two, I will take you through the process of how to customize 4 different types of instrument setups and then recall these setups with a touch of a single button via the Performance Direct Select feature. I should say that I will really be focusing on the CP4, but virtually everything here applies to the CP40 stage piano as well, since the operation of the two instruments is virtually identical. You will need to understand the controls used for editing on the CP4, namely the arrow controls that allow you to navigate through menus, the data wheel and the +1 yes, -1 no buttons that allow you to adjust values, the enter and exit buttons that enter values and back up and out of menus, and the quick reset. Quick reset is a way to immediately bring the CP4 back to Performance 1 CFX Grand, which is exactly the state it is in when you first power on. Now, this is not the same as a factory reset. This is just a quick, on-the-fly way to disengage whatever state the CP4 is in and bring it back to its initial, nearly perfect state of just being a great stage piano. What you just heard was my customized version of the CFX piano. I changed some things like the reverb setting from a more reverberant hall reverb to a less reverberant room reverb. I also changed some EQ settings and some other subtle aspects to make it, well, to me, more playable and present for certain types of music like jazz piano, where I want a more present, defined piano sound. In order to customize and then recall voices in this way, you have to understand what a performance is. On page 21 of the CP4 40 Owner's Manual, there is this statement and definition. So a performance is like a house where a family of voices live. On the CP4, there are 3 parts in a performance: a main part, a layer part, and a split part. On the CP40, there are 2 parts in a performance, a main part and a layer or split part. When you first get a CP4, pull it out of the box, connect the power supply, and power up. You are in Performance 1, which has the CFX stereo piano in the main part. The CP4 is set up to make it very easy to select single preset voices within the main part. This is by design, since most everyone wants to have a way to easily find and check out the voices. So, when you select a voice category like A Piano 1, you get the CFX piano, and all the variations of that piano are located in that category. Using the data wheel or the +1 yes, -1 no buttons allow you to select voices from the acoustic piano 1 category in the main part. By selecting another category, say for example strings, you can then audition all the string sounds in the strings category. This is the most basic way to operate the CP4, and for many people, it works just fine. Now, it is very easy to add things like layers and splits as well by just touching the corresponding part buttons and looking at what happens in the screen. When just a main voice is active, the main part button is illuminated on the left, and it says that the main voice is active, what the category that voice lives in, acoustic piano 1, and the name of that voice, CFX St or CFX stereo. When a layer voice is engaged, by touching the layer button, it lights up red, and the screen now shows the main voice on the left, identified with the letter M, and the layer voice on the right, identified by the letter L. Note that I can tell that the layer voice is from the strings category, identified by the letters STR, and that voice is strings 3. Engaging the split voice is done in the same way and shows up in the same manner as a layer voice, and having the main layer and split voice active is displayed similarly. Once again, we call this collection of voices a performance. Let's take a look at the controls on the left-hand side of the keyboard a bit more closely. There are clearly labeled buttons for each part that light up red when engaged, and dedicated sliders for each part. The Part Select button allows me to select individual parts for editing by pressing and holding the button first and touching the corresponding part. This will become more important as we get deeper into part editing. And finally, there is a slider function button that toggles the function of the slider between volume, reverb send level, and chorus send level. So what are the benefits of effectively utilizing performances on the CP4? One very important benefit is the fact that you can recall complete instrument setups at the touch of a button, especially when using the Performance Direct Select feature, which I will cover in a moment. If you just use the instrument in the most basic way, where you are just changing the voices within the first performance, you always have to recreate layers or reset split points or re-edit voices on the fly. Performance mode is the area where edits to those main, layer, and split parts are stored, and it is here where you can instantly recall these custom edits to the effect processors, individual part settings for envelope generators or filters, changes to the EQ, or any other editable parameter. You can also instantly recall MIDI setups for controlling both the CP internal sounds or any external devices or virtual instruments on a computer. All of these things can be set up and instantly recalled with the touch of a single button. One of the best ways to instantly recall settings is with a feature called Performance Direct Select. To enter Performance Direct Select, you press and hold the Shift button first and touch the Performance Play Select button. When you do this, the 16 voice category buttons will blink 3 times and the screen will clearly state that you are in Performance Direct Select. Now, the 16 voice category buttons allow you to directly select your custom setups in groups of 16. If you once again press and hold the Shift button and touch the +1 Yes button, you will jump to the next 16 performances, which would be performances 17 through 32. Once again, the benefit of using the instrument in this way is that you can instantly recall voices with just the main part active, a layered piano and string sound, a split with a bass in the left hand and another voice in the right, a voice with dramatic changes to the effect processors, and so on. It allows you to instantly recall your custom setups. This mode can truly personalize the CP4 for your musical needs. This is a chart that shows the main edit areas of a performance in the CP4. As with most Yamaha keyboards, there is what is called a common and part edit area. I have listed master keyboard and job, but I'm only going to cover common and part editing in this tutorial. In common edit, edits that are made affect all the parts of a performance, the main, split, and layer. In part edit, edits that are made only affect the individual parts of a performance. So that is a basic idea of how the performance memory works in the CP4. In part 2 of this CP4 tutorial, I will go through the steps of creating 4 different performances: an edit of the CFX piano, a piano string layer, an edit of one of the electric pianos, and a synth pad synth lead sound. Keep checking back here at YamahaSynth.com for more tips, tricks, events, and everything else related to Yamaha synthesizers, stage pianos, apps, and all things from Yamaha music production. Once again, this is Blake Angelos, and stay tuned for part 2 of this CP4 tutorial.